Too old to do. I've never felt myself too old to do anything yet. I don't know. We like I said, it's nothing for us to wake up on a Saturday morning and say, it's going to be a great weekend. Let's just go.
Welcome to Tesla Boomers, a podcast where we take you through all the latest technologies from Tesla that will help you enjoy your later years, hey boomers, to be happier, healthier, and safer. I'm your host, Chris Derry. Now this week we're talking with Karen Rudisill, the owner and operator of a Tesla Cybertruck that she's proud to drive. And in actuality, I drove it last weekend at the Chattanooga Charge where Karen and I met. So, Karen, you watch the news every now and then. What do you think about Elon Musk heading up the Department of Government Efficiency?
I think he's doing a great job. It's something that needs to be done. I mean, that's all our money, us boomers. We put the majority of that money in there, and it scares me to see where a lot of it's been going. I mean, all of that money that's been going overseas into all these random, weird, scammy type places could better be spent on homeless and veterans. My husband's a veteran, and he's one of the lucky few that he's not out there, standing on street corners like some of these veterans are. I feel so sad for some of them. And all of that money could better be spent here in the States on just those two demographics. There's so many more.
Well, in fact, it could be better spent if it were still in your pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
And hopefully that's where we're going, that there's so much money around that President Trump will say, ladies and gentlemen, we're reducing your taxes. So, Karen, is my memory correct? Were you raised in Texas?
No, sir. I was born and raised in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay. And when did you get to Texas?
December of 2012.
When we talked at the Chattanooga Charge, you came across very much as a Texas girl.
Yes.
So, how did living in Texas change you?
I find there's a lot more freedoms in Texas, that they respect women a lot more, respect our opinions a lot more, and I feel freer and more able to be myself. I don't have to be this sweet little Southern girl, you know. I can carry a gun if I want to. I can drive a truck if I want to. I can basically do whatever makes me happy as long as I don't break any laws.
Absolutely. And as you and I, well, as you glide into boomerland. So I'm 74. Now I forget. How old are you?
In 2 weeks, I'll be 65.
65. As you face the era of what boomers have to do as we get older, what do you think the Cybertruck then provides you to help you ease this transition?
It's a big truck, so I'm not scared to drive anywhere. I'm currently living in Ohio, and being a Southern girl from Texas, Louisiana, it was a little scary. Snow and ice and cold. And my truck is so big, it's 7,000 pounds. I'm riding on 35-inch all-terrain tires. So I'm very well planted. I don't drive a lot in the snow because it still scares me. But when we do, I'm not worried. And because I know how safe my truck is, if something were to happen, I'm not worried. I mean, I may get hurt, but I don't believe I'm going to die, which is important. I kind of like breathing.
Marvelous. And now that you're living in Columbus, you're experiencing what it means to drive in the snow. So, what do you think are some advantages and maybe disadvantages of driving a Cybertruck in the snow in Columbus?
Again, being that it weighs 7,000 pounds, I'm not worried I'm going to slide off the road. So there's no worries there. And I'm plenty big enough that everybody can see me, and I'm very visible. I'm not worried about having any problems. Again, the big 35-inch tires, all terrain tires that I have on my truck. I don't worry. I don't, obviously, I'm not going to take any roads that are too deep in snow because you know, I'm at least cognizant of that. But I I'm not afraid to drive anywhere in the snow and the ice in my truck. It's a very safe vehicle. The it's got so many 5-star ratings from the, I think it's the NTSB, that you know, again, and being that it's stainless steel, if somebody hits me, they're going to crumple a lot more than I am. So I think I'll have a lot less body work that needs done than they will. So I just feel very, very safe in my truck.
That's wonderful because baby boomers are increasingly, the more we age, the more we worry about doing something that would cause us to get in an accident. So, now how often do you click on full self driving, FSD, when you're driving in Columbus?
I prefer not to use it as much in town. I'm a control freak. So I like being in control and knowing where my vehicle is going and what I'm doing. Now, when I do travel, if I'm on interstates, bigger highways, then yes, absolutely. Because the truck can see 360. I'm looking at this guy over here who's looking a little sketch, but the truck is looking at the guy over here, the guy behind me, and the guy in front of me. So the truck is watching all of that and warning me if anything weird is going to happen. So I much prefer to use it when we travel. And we do. We go a lot on the weekends. We're going everywhere. We want to explore all around Columbus and Ohio, and we've got plans for spring and summer to go up to the Lake Erie, and just, while we're here, we're going to thoroughly enjoy being here. So, but the FSD, I just prefer not to use it as much in town.
With the current level of technology in FSD, it's not quite ready. But Elon says, and he said again yesterday, yes, we're going to roll out full self driving in Austin, Texas in June. And ultimately, as you and I age, allowing the Cybertruck or a Tesla EV to take us places, drop us off, go park itself, come back and pick us up when we want from our phone, and then take us back home without worrying. One of the things that baby boomers do not like to face as we age, and that is somebody who loves us comes to us and says, "Dad, Mom, I need your key." To what extent does the Cybertruck deliver the answer to that? And that is retaining your independence.
I had a total knee replacement October 29th, and it's on my right leg. So driving was difficult, but because of my Cybertruck, because of my FSD, I was able to drive within about 3 weeks of my surgery, much earlier than my doctor knew. Shh, don't tell. And so, and because the truck is so easy to drive with the regen braking, I just take my foot off the accelerator and the truck would slow down for me. I didn't have to do a lot of movement and moving of the leg back and forth from brake to accelerator, accelerator to brake, and that really helped a lot. And just, because the truck anticipates so much more, and I've been driving Tesla's long enough that I know how to modulate. So when I see a stop sign coming up, I can take my foot off the accelerator and know I'm going to coast to the stop sign, and it's going to stop at just the right place. And it really did help me a lot having that.
Regenerative braking. I experienced it the first time about a month ago when I took my first demo, and I didn't realize that all Teslas have regenerative braking. And it only took me a couple blocks to realize what an advantage it was, right?
Very much, very much. And what they've got now is called actually one pedal driving. Regen braking has pretty much been out since the inception of the Teslas, but now they call it one pedal driving, where, like I said, you take your foot off the accelerator and the truck slows down for you and comes to a stop. The coming to a stop part is the new part. Regen braking used to just slow you down, but you still had to put your foot on the brake to stop the vehicle. Now, the one pedal driving, it stops for you. And that's very new, not new, but it's different than the initial regen braking. But the regen braking just again makes it so much easier if you do have issues in your mobility in your legs. Then you can use that and you don't have to pick up your foot and physically put it on the brake pedal. Yeah, I think it's great. Again, all these people were saying, "You were driving at 3 weeks." I'm like, "Well, kind of had a little advantage." Wasn't exactly in a Honda.
Well, keeping us safe is so important as we age because we lose some mobility. Now, you're just a youngin' in baby boomers,
Yeah, I'm a tail end of the boomers.
but, you know, retaining your independence is so, so important. So now you grew up in the New Orleans area,
Mhm.
right? Okay. So how do you think your friends way back in the day react when they see you roll up in this Cybertruck? I mean, did they get it or do they think you've lost it?
I think a lot of them are very intrigued by the truck. A lot of people we've talked to have seen them. I've seen these on the road, I've seen them going down the street, but we feel very blessed to have our truck. So we let anybody, we open the doors, we say, "Hey, or take a look. Get in the truck if you want. Have a seat, see what it's all about, see what it is and what it does." And I think my friends would be the same kind of way. They'd be like, "Wow, what is this?" And they, I was crazy from the get go, so they wouldn't be surprised that I'm driving this crazy machine. And I think they would, be intrigued and interested. And again, because we share our vehicle, we don't show off our truck. We share our truck and we let everybody see and answer any questions you may have. And we've been known to take people for a ride in the truck. And in certain cases, some very special people get to drive my truck.
It was
So,
wonderful.
yeah, it is a great truck, but because there's no advertising from Tesla, I've seen Rivian advertising here lately, but you don't ever see Tesla advertising. We are the advertisers.
Mhm.
And to me, it's important that Tesla owners share their vehicles, at least open the doors and let people look. We take it further because we let you get in the truck and push buttons and we encourage people to interact with the truck and really get to know the truck. And by the time they walk away, they're like, "Pretty cool machine."
Well, this is one of the things I think that holds some baby boomers back, even from
Uh-huh.
taking a test drive. That somehow it's so new and the technology is so new that I won't get it.
Right.
But as your husband, Darmy,
Uh-huh.
walked me through the first my first drive in the Cybertruck. So he said to me, "This is just a car. It has a steering wheel,
Uh-huh.
it has pedals." Now, there are some things that are a little bit different about this car or truck, but pretty much treat it like a truck. And he
Yes.
was right. That it's the technology, in fact, with a little bit of learning, helps it become a simpler vehicle to drive. Would you agree?
Yes. Yes. To me, the thing you have to keep in mind that it is first and foremost just a car. It's just a truck. But you also have to keep in mind that it's more than just a car or just a truck. That there's so much more involved and it does so much more for you. and there's so much less you have to worry about. I like to tell the ladies of my generation that you don't have to worry about an oil change or a tune-up or transmission or any of the other, things that you get worried. You go in to get your oil change and they tell you, your flux capacitor needs to be replaced. And we're like, well, okay, how much is that going to cost? We most of us, we're not me, of course, but some of these ladies are widowed and their husbands have always taken care of that stuff. And so they don't know. And unless they have one of their adult children around and they can have help them, they don't know. And these vehicles to me, you just go to a charger and all of the superchargers are to me are in very safe locations. You don't have to worry about anybody bothering you. Like you go to a Flying J and Peter Pervert standing over there like, hey baby. And you're like, no, no, you don't ever have any of that at Tesla superchargers. I would never worry if I traveled by myself, stopping to charge my vehicle.
And as you travel and as you visit the superchargers, how often do you worry that you won't reach the next one and you might run out of juice?
I've been driving Tesla since 2017, so I personally don't worry as much. But it's to me, it's just like in your gas vehicle. When you see you're getting down to a quarter of a tank of gasoline, you start going, well, I guess I need to look for a gas station. But with the truck, it tells you where the gas stations are. And you just have to know that when I get to a certain point in my range, that I have to start thinking about where I'm going to do my next charge.
So the software that Tesla has written instructs you to go from this supercharger to that one, so you don't have to worry.
Correct. When you travel, you put in, I'm going from here. We go visit our grandkids in Rhode Island, and it is no problem. We put in, we're leaving from Houston and we're going to Rhode Island. Well, the truck says, okay, you've got X miles in the tank right now. So you're going to go this far and stop here and charge for 20 minutes. And then you're going to go here and charge for 15 minutes. And then you're going to go here. You don't stop and get a full charge each time because it's not necessary. The chargers are usually about 150 miles apart. So you don't want to sit there for an hour or 45 minutes to get a full charge because that gets boring. So you can go from stop to stop. And it also tells you what is at that location, what food is there, what restrooms are available, what shopping is available, what lodging is available. If you decide you want to spend the night, depending on what time of day it is, it tells you all of that at each one of these chargers. And so it's just, to me, it's a no brainer. It is such an amazing vehicle to travel anywhere. And my truck is I got it September of last year, and I think I've already got like 13,000 miles on it.
So when you're driving it from Houston to the East Coast, to what extent is it less? Is there less pressure? Do you feel less pressure on you to respond to your environment versus the Cybertruck doing it for you?
Because we have FSD, the full self-driving, you just push the little button and the truck changes lanes. It puts the blinker on, checks all the traffic, changes lanes to get around slower traffic or to get away from the merged lanes. And it's just, you just kind of sit back and, they've got a camera inside now and it monitors your face and it can see your eyes. So it knows if you're messing on your phone, it'll beep at you and go, pay attention. And as long as you do correct, as long as you are paying attention and you're watching the road and watching what's going on, you're just enjoying the ride. I mean, the guy in his Honda is like on the steering wheel and he's watching everybody and he's worrying about his traffic and where his exit is and what's going on. Well, the truck tells me, your exit's coming up in X miles and get over to, it just does everything for you.
The extent of the technology today, we call this supervised FSD, full self-driving. Now, what Elon is saying today is that in June, the unsupervised FSD will emerge. And with that one, the camera that's watching your face won't nudge you, won't beep at you, and the cyber cab will just take you wherever you'd like to go. And what is insanely cool about what Elon has put together and Tesla's put together is this FSD will be available to every Tesla EV in America and the 2.5 million Tesla EVs in China doing the same thing. And the cool thing about this technology is all those cameras with all those videos, they're all programming up into Tesla's massive data center and to make driving safer and safer and safer.
Absolutely. Yeah, these cars, if you watch your screen while you're driving, it shows you if it's an 18-wheeler or a little Civic or anything, or if it's a motorcycle, it sees people, it sees, and it's actual images of the things that are around you. It sees traffic cones and I mean, and you're looking at like, oh wow. I mean, it's just the vision and the little graphics that it shows, it's you don't have to guess like, what is that ball there? It's quite clear.
And where this is going, and we both know it, is that there's an inference computer that's embedded in your Cybertruck that is thinking, oh, that is a deer. I better slow down even when you can't see it at night. It sees it and slows down. And you've seen that, haven't you?
One of my favorite stories, we have a Facebook group called the Tesla Divas, and it's all ladies, no men allowed. So we don't ever get mansplained about anything. We can ask each other questions and you don't have anybody going, oh my God, how could she not know that? It's all women. And so we're like, oh, come on, girl, let me tell you how this works. And we're sisters for each other. And one of the ladies, I believe she was in West Virginia, was going down the 2-lane road out, in West Virginia, and all of a sudden, her car, because this is before the trucks, her car slows down and almost stops. And she's like, what's going on? Oh my gosh. And out of the woods comes a deer, runs across the highway and keeps going. The car saw that deer before it ever got close to the highway. It saw it coming, knew enough to stop the car. The deer ran across and then it kept going. And she was like, oh my God. So I mean, just my son sent me a video one time of a Tesla was at a stoplight with a panel van next to it. The light turned green and the cars started to go and the Tesla stopped and the guy's looking around like, what? Somebody ran the red light and T-boned the panel van because the van didn't see him, didn't know it was coming, but the Tesla saw him and the Tesla stopped, even though it was in the left lane and would have gotten T-boned before the van. The van kept going and he got T-boned instead of the Tesla.
I believe there are settings in your Cybertruck that you can make it even safer or a little bit modest or a little bit risky. So, can I ask you, where do you set it?
I set mine on the safer mode. My husband puts his on like Mad Max or something. I don't remember what it is, but he's just like balls to the walls, man. He is just going. He just lets it, and I get a little worried, like, what's the truck doing now? But it's all under control. It's just a little more, zoom, zoom, zoom than I'm comfortable with. But that's the beauty of the truck is I can drive it at my comfort level and he can drive it at his crazy level. And we're both happy and we're both safe.
Everything we can do as boomers to keep our relationship going as we age and we
Yes.
deal with the limitations of becoming a little bit older.
Hmm.
But now, over and over, you have to tell yourself, don't let the old girl in.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm a little concerned about my big birthday coming up, but at the same time, I'm like, but that's old people. I'm not old people. I'm still having fun. I'm still, getting in the truck and driving to Chattanooga for a weekend and just running around and you know, I have to remind myself I probably need to be a little more careful and slow down a little bit, but I'm like, nah, I'll rest when I'm dead. I'm good.
So, Elon Musk is a divisive kind of guy. And you must have some experiences of people who are some experiences with kids, and kids come up and just can't believe it and they love it. But there's some people who don't like your Cybertruck that has nothing to do with you. Can you give us a sense of the extent to which this is a distraction to you?
It makes me a little worried because I don't know how radicalized some of these people are. And so I get very concerned when someone in a fit of anger comes up to me about my truck. And I try to be very calm and not let the situation escalate and explain to them it's a vehicle. This is a Tesla. It's not an Elon. Mr. Musk owns the company, but it will not bother him if one less Tesla is sold. It will not bother him if 100 less Teslas are sold. But all those people who work in those factories, they're the ones who are going to get bothered. They're the ones who, because there's a reduction in sales, they're going to get laid off. So you're not hurting Elon. You're hurting all the regular Joes who are just trying to provide for their families and work a job and work in the factories. I mean, there's so many factories now that hire and all these people are working that you're not hurting Elon because, oh, you should sell that truck. It's blah, blah, blah. He doesn't care. He doesn't, it's not going to affect him at all. I own a Tesla. I do not own an Elon. And that to me is what people need to understand that you're going to put all these regular Joes out of work with what the foolishness that they're doing.
And very probably, as baby boomers consider the advantages of a Cybertruck or a Model Y from Tesla, as they consider all the benefits, they're also considering some of these limitations, which frankly will not last.
Absolutely not. I don't think so at all. I think it's just a talking point right now for everybody. They need somebody to hate. Everybody, they're all looking for somebody to hate on. And because Elon is a little different, he's not from the United States. He's from South Africa. He doesn't care. He doesn't react to people. They can poke and pinch and prod him, and he's just gonna be like, okay, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before. And, you USAID, you're out of here. And you're out of here. And we're going to clean up everything. We're going to drain the swamp and it's going to be great. And he doesn't really care. And so they're not going to get the reaction out of him that they want. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing. And, eh, he's just going to keep being Elon.
Well, we both know that very probably this is the response of an electorate who lost in November.
Yep.
And
Sore
instead of
losers.
attacking President Trump, they're attacking Elon Musk. And
Mhm.
somehow that will affect Trump. So, well, let me ask you. You've been driving your Cybertruck for a little over a year and a half?
August of last year, September last year.
September of, oh, you're not even 1 year in.
No.
So, what's the craziest thing you've hauled or you've done with it thus far? Any off-road stories?
In spite of the fact that my truck does have the capability to rock crawl, it will raise up 18 inches and it can rock crawl. I don't want to do that. It scares me. I don't want to hurt my truck. So no off-roading at all. And I threatened my husband, you best not. If I find out, I will be very upset. But
You can check the cameras.
That's exactly right. I know exactly where he's been and what he's been doing. Right. It's hard to be sneaky in a Tesla, any Tesla. But as far as hauling anything, we have a golf cart, so we have a trailer. We put the golf cart on the trailer and took it down to Galveston and participated in a golf cart parade and different things like that. We put stuff on the trailer. I have a motorcycle and I have a big Can-Am. So I put my motorcycle on the trailer and then my husband has a motorcycle. We could almost fit both of them on the trailer so we can haul them. That's our plans for retirement, is to haul the motorcycles out to Big Bend and ride all the trails out there. And things like that, but nothing really crazy yet. I'm just pulling the trailer and, pulling a U-Haul when we moved up here, pulling a small U-Haul trailer.
Any issues you had to deal with in hauling that?
You have to remember that the Cybertruck is just like any F-150. You're going to get less range, less mileage when you're towing something than you would normally. And people go like, oh, wow, wow. Your F-150 pulling a trailer with a motorcycle on it is going to get less mileage, just like my truck. And you have to remind people of that it's just an electric F-150. It's going to have a lot of the same issues and capabilities. It's just going to be much cooler.
So does the Cybertruck know that you're hauling something that's heavy? And does it incorporate that into the software to tell you when you have to stop?
It knows. It has a tow mode on it. And then there's also, as you're driving, it has a little icon that's up there to remind you that you're towing. And it does take that into consideration in your range. And it also has special braking that it uses because it knows that there's a trailer back there. It has trailer braking. So it knows not to slam on brakes because it doesn't want the trailer to come through the back of the truck. So it takes that into consideration when it's towing a vehicle or towing a trailer or anything, an RV or whatever. The truck will tow 11,000 pounds. So you could put a boat, a nice RV behind you, a lot of things. 11,000 pounds is a lot of weight.
That's amazing. And what this does for you and for we baby boomers is it helps us feel safe. We can take with us what we want, what we enjoy, and we can just enjoy the journey, right?
Right. I mean, if we wanted to, we could put my husband's motorcycle in the bed of the truck. That'll hold 8,000 pounds. And he's got a gold wing. So we can put the gold wing in the back of the truck, put the trailer with my motorcycle on it behind the truck, and we're gone. We're just ready to go, and we can put our camping gear in the bed of the truck or in the back seat in the cab of the truck, and we're ready. We're going to go camping, and we're going to ride our motorcycles, and we're just going to pretend like we're 40 again.
Well, again, engaging in activities that we used to do that we're a little cautious about doing today, we can re-engage in them. So what's something that you were concerned you might be too old to do that you've actually done with your Cybertruck?
Too old to do. I've never felt myself too old to do anything yet. I don't know. We like I said, it's nothing for us to wake up on a Saturday morning and say, it's going to be a great weekend. Let's just go. Pretty quickly pack up all the stuff we're going to need just for a quick weekend and drive off somewhere and not have a worry that, oh my gosh, do we need to do this? What about that? And all of the worries that you might have. We're not worried. We just go.
So now, as a fellow boomer, we're in love with the music that we enjoyed when we were in our teens and 20s. So describe the music system that's in your Cybertruck and scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy it?
About a 12. I like to tell people that when I'm having a really bad day, when the 10-page bank statement that I'm reconciling just won't work. I'm off by $100 and I cannot find it anywhere. I can get in my truck, put all the windows down, crank up the music, and roll down the highway, and it just all goes away. I no longer want to stab my husband when I come home. Everything is good. It's all good. The music is cranking. People around me's windows are vibrating because it's so loud. But, that's your problem. Just wait till the light changes and you get away from me. But, I just love just enjoying the sound system and whatever music I'm listening to. It just totally clears my mind. And I come back to work and I'm like, there's a doggone $100.
There's that $100. Well, that's great. So if you could take this Cybertruck back to 1979 and show your younger self, what do you think you'd say about it?
My younger self would go, way to go, mama. My younger self would be so damn impressed with me. Because back in my younger days, I was not nearly as wild and crazy as I am now. I think the older I get, the crazier I get. And just the more I'm enjoying life and not as worried about what other people think, what other people are going to say. I've gotten to the point now, I think maybe as a baby boomer, that, I'm going to live my life. I have lived my mom life. I've lived my wife life. I've lived my work life. Now it's my life. And I'm going to get out and I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to drive this crazy looking truck. I'm going to go camping at 65 years old. I'm going to go everywhere, ride my motorcycle, do whatever I want to do and enjoy my life. And I think my younger self would be like, I can't wait to grow up.
Don't let the old lady in.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, Karen, this has been a marvelous conversation we've had here today. You live and breathe the freedom that a Tesla Cybertruck enables you to experience. You might have worried, am I going to be able to be as independent as I would like to be? And it enables you, you said over and over, just to be yourself. So thanks for riding along with us today on Tesla Boomers. For more tips on Tesla's life-enhancing technologies, follow us here for new episodes each week. Karen, thanks so much for being here with us today. If viewers want to get in touch with you, where can they connect with you online?
My email, I guess, would be a good way. It's Karen.Rudisill38@gmail. And I would love to talk with anyone who wants to know anything about Teslas, Cybertrucks. I've driven and owned every model Tesla that's made. We have now owned 8 Teslas since 2017. So if you have a question about any of them, I'm pretty sure between myself and my husband, we can answer just about any question they'll have.
So Karen, learning about your Divas group was great. Where can listeners find your Divas group?
It's a Facebook group called the Tesla Divas. It is a closed group, so you have to answer certain questions to be admitted to the group. But it's all ladies, no men, so we don't have any mansplaining going on. And it's just a good sisterhood. We answer questions from each other, and it's just, hey girl, I know how to fix it for you. Let me tell you how this works. And some of these ladies have no clue how their Teslas work. And those of us who've been driving for a while, we help them out and we explain things to them in ways that ladies understand. Ladies talking to ladies, and it's a very, very good group.
So, as for us, make sure to join our LinkedIn community or follow us on X for the latest updates. We'll see you next time on Tesla Boomers, and don't let the old man in.